Episode 1, Trigger Night. Part 2, Warehouse Inferno. Rain fell like bullets against the shattered skyline, every drop echoing the pulse of a city that forgot mercy. Scarlett Reed moved through the alley's steam and silence, the smell of diesel and death still clinging to her from the pier. She had lost too much blood to feel the cold, yet her mind was clear, cold, surgical, burning with purpose. The flash of Carter's dying eyes haunted every step, pushing her deeper into the industrial maze that had once been their hunting ground. Ahead, a flicker of light broke through the fog, an abandoned textile warehouse now pulsing with the hum of generators. Voices murmured inside, low, mechanical, men rehearsing violence like a religion. Scarlett pressed her hand to her ribs, then drew her silenced pistol, the steel alive in her grip. She breathed once, slow and sharp, and pushed the door open with her shoulder. Inside, the air vibrated with the sound of metal, music, and rage. 5 men sat around a table loaded with cash, rifles, and whiskey-dirty cops working for the mafia, the same unit Carter once trusted. She watched them through a crack in the wall, the sight burning. Their laughter was jagged, wrong, familiar. She whispered, "You killed the wrong officer." Her shadow cut across the floor as she stepped out, weapon raised. 2 quick shots cracked through the smoke, heads snapping back in unison before the others even stood. One dove for cover, shouting, "Reed's alive! Call Vance!" Scarlett fired again, catching him mid-syllable. The body hit the ground before his phone did. The last 2 opened fire, muzzle flashes strobing the dark. She rolled behind a metal beam, glass raining around her like broken time. The world slowed breath, recoil, silence. Then she moved, precise and relentless. A bullet grazed her cheek as she returned fire. Pain sharpened her focus, made every motion deliberate, elegant, final. The warehouse filled with thunder until only the rain remained. She reloaded, fingers trembling, not from fear but from memory. Carter's badge sat in her pocket, its edges cutting her palm. She whispered his name like a trigger. The back door burst open, new footsteps, heavier, synchronized. A tactical team entered, dark armor gleaming under flickering lights. Not police. Hired killers in police skin. Scarlett dove behind a crate as a grenade rolled across the floor. She kicked it back before it detonated, the explosion ripping the wall apart in fire and dust. She used the chaos, sprinting through smoke, bullets chasing her heels. One man blocked her path. She slammed his rifle aside, drove a knee into his gut, and shot him through the helmet before he fell. The rest followed. It became a dance grit and blood in rhythm. She ducked under a punch, elbow to throat, spun the gun backward, fired twice. Bodies dropped in sequence like collapsing dominoes. The final one reached for the radio. "Subject" was all he managed before her knife found his throat. Silence reclaimed the room again, broken by the echo of distant sirens and her heartbeat. Scarlett exhaled, slid down against the wall, and looked at the floor maps, coded documents. A symbol she recognized. Halo Division. The same name Carter whispered before he died. Her pulse steadied into anger. They were closer than she thought. She pocketed the papers and turned toward the stairs when a single spotlight pierced the roof, slicing through dust. The sound of rotor blades rolled overhead. She ran. The front gate exploded inward, SUVs flooding the yard, engines howling, tires hissing on wet cement. Armed men poured out like shadows with badges that meant nothing. Scarlett climbed the scaffolding, rising above them, heart sinking to the rhythm of gunfire below. She fired down, precise, surgical, each burst cutting another thread from the network that killed Carter. The helicopter descended, its side gun opening fire. Sparks danced around her. She sprinted across the catwalk, leaped, caught a hanging chain, swung through smoke. The impact jarred her bones, but she landed, standing. She grabbed a fallen rifle and turned the air into lightning. 2 men advanced through the inferno. She dropped one with a shot to the knee, the other with a burst to the chest. The smell of burning oil coated the air, thick and metallic. Then through the chaos, a familiar voice on the intercom. "Scarlett, stop." She froze. "Chief Vance." His tone was calm, surgical, like before. You've made your point. Come in quietly, and I'll make sure Carter's name survives. He's some manny. She stared into the light, jaw clenched. You killed him, and you still dare to speak his name. He sighed. You think the world cares who pulled the trigger? It only remembers who writes the report. Her reply was a single shot that shattered the loudspeaker. The blast ignited the fuel lines running beneath the floor. Fire rolled through the warehouse like a living thing, devouring shadows and lies. Scarlett ran, heat chasing her every step. The roof groaned above, collapsing in molten rain. She dove through a shattered window as the entire structure erupted behind her. She hit the pavement, rolled, came up breathing fire and rain. The explosion painted the skyline red. Sirens converged from all sides, blue and crimson bleeding together. She staggered toward the docks, body screaming, mind locked on vengeance. Behind her, helicopters circled like vultures. In front, water, endless and black. She didn't hesitate. She dove. The cold slammed her like a hammer, ripping breath from her lungs. She kicked downward, deeper, until the world above became only noise and light. When she surfaced near the pier's edge, the city was burning, and she was no longer a teacher. She was a weapon forged in grief. Scarlett pulled herself onto the shore, coughing, shivering, alive. In her palm, the blood-stained badge still gleamed like a promise. She looked toward the skyline. Smoke twisting upward, rain falling harder, sirens screaming her name. She whispered into the storm, "This is only the beginning." And somewhere, in the ruins of the warehouse, Vance watched the flames rise higher, speaking softly into his radio. "Scarlett Reed just declared war.